And tonight I want to talk to you about something very important from the Seder meal. The Seder is the traditional Passover dinner that Jews all over the world will eat and on the eve of Passover, and then again they have a second Seder the following night. So tonight what I want to do is talk to you about the Haggadah, which is the book that is used at the Passover. Haggadah is Hebrew for the telling. And it's a book that everyone has, and then there's a leader, and then there is everyone at the table. We all participate. It's a very interactive meal. And in the meal, there are 4 cups. Now, you can't see them on this, and I'm not able to move the video, so I'm going to show you there. I have these little, this is from a Jewish wedding fountain, actually. They're little cups we're going to use as our Seder cups. But I want to explain to you what they mean. So if you've ever had the joy of attending a Seder or to participate even in your own home, and I encourage you to learn it, because you see, it is learning the Hebrew roots of our Christian experience that just augments and magnifies our relationship in understanding who our Messiah is. What did he come to earth to do? And how did he fulfill the prophecies on the feasts? So in the Haggadah, we're going to discuss the 4 cups. Actually, and there's going to be 5 cups because we have the cup of Elijah as well. Now, the first cup that is used in the Seder is called the cup of sanctification. Sanctification means to be set apart. And Israel was set apart from all the nations of the earth. And they were what we call the chosen people. They were chosen to bring forth the prophecies, the feasts, and the Messiah. It's not that they were extra special, better than anyone else, other than that they were chosen because of the faithfulness of Abraham, who was a Hebrew. Now, the cup of sanctification is lifted up, and they hold it up. It's kind of like a toast you would do on New Year's Eve, where you sing Auld Lang Syne and to the New Year. But at Passover, we hold up the cup of sanctification, and there's a prayer that we say. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, borei peri hagafen. And it means, blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who created and brings forth the fruit of the vine. And so in the cup we would have wine or juice that comes from the vine, and we would drink of it, and that is the cup of sanctification. Now, moving forward, there's several things that happen. It's an interactive Seder, and when you get to the second cup, this is the cup of plagues, or the cup of judgment. And we have this cup that we're going to use. We're not going to drink it. What we do is we actually have the red fruit of the vine juice in the cup, and you stick your index finger in there. And every time one of the 10 plagues of Egypt is mentioned, we just take our finger and we throw it on the plate. And we say blood, frogs, lice, beasts, cattle disease, boils, hail, locusts, darkness, death of the firstborn. And we rehearse the 10 plagues. This was done so that the people of Israel were supposed to remember the miracles of God. They forgot anyway, but the idea is every year they would rehearse this. It was commanded until the Messiah would come. And this cup of judgment, this cup of plagues, is very significant to the Messiah. And I'm going to talk about this a little later when we move over to the Gospel of Matthew. So now the third cup of the Seder is called the cup of redemption. And of course we understand what that is because our Messiah came to redeem us from sin and to take us unto himself. Now we have been cleansed of our sin, but the redemption really hasn't taken place quite yet. It's still to be fulfilled. We're looking forward to it. So as we have this Passover Seder and we see the cup of redemption, think of it this way. This is the cup that Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Messiah, said to his disciples at what we call the Last Supper. That was the Seder. He said, this is the cup of my new covenant, the Brit Hadashah, and I will not drink it with you until I drink it with you new in my Father's kingdom. So what he was saying is, he's reserving taking this cup, the cup of redemption, with his bride until he comes to redeem her from the earth to take her to the wedding chamber, and together we will drink it at the wedding supper of the Lamb. Isn't that a beautiful picture? This is a cup that is yet to come. Now finally, about this time, then the leader will pick up what we call Elijah's cup. Now at every Passover meal at the Seder table, you will have an extra chair. No one sits there. And there is a cup and a plate set for Elijah, because there was a promise in the prophet Malachi that before the terrible day of the Lord, I will send you the spirit of Elijah, who will turn the hearts of the fathers to the children and the children to the fathers, and he will restore all things. Now, when John the Baptist came, they believed that he was coming in the spirit of Elijah. The scriptures kind of tell us that that was true, because he was preparing the way for the Messiah. He did come before the Messiah came. And that was when he was in the wilderness baptizing at the Jordan. But this is the cup of Elijah. And it is held to welcome them. And during the Seder meal, you will have a child go and open the door and bid Elijah to come in, the spirit of Elijah to come in and join the Seder. It's just a beautiful experience. It's a wonderful way to engage your children in not only history, but prophecy, in the feasts, and in the fulfillment of how Jesus, Yeshua, our Messiah, fulfilled the feast. Now the final cup, the fourth cup of the Seder, is what we call the cup of praise. Hallel is the word in Hebrew. And it was at the end of the meal. Now, let me show you in the New Covenant, the Brit Hadashah, where we can read about this. If you read the Gospel of Matthew and the account of the Last Supper, the Seder meal, in chapter 26, verse 30, after the Seder was over, it says they went out and sang a hymn. That was the praise. That was Hallel. It's always done after the Seder is over and the fourth cup is finished. And they went out to the Mount of Olives. Now, at this time, then Yeshua, Jesus, went to the Garden of Gethsemane. And we know from history and from reading our scriptures what happened there. He agonized through the night. He was conversing with his Father. It was so painful to him to consider that he sweat blood. And what he was saying, and this is where we go back to the second cup, the cup of judgment and plagues, the one that we didn't drink. But he said this, again, the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 26, and I'm beginning in verse 38. And he said unto them, my soul is exceedingly sorrow, even unto death. Wait here for me, watch with me. And then he went out into the garden and fell on his face and prayed to his Father, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. This cup was the cup of judgment. Now, of course, he was lamenting the fact that he was going to be going through these terrible tortures. And in fact, what he was going through were the 10 plagues, plus all the diseases he took upon himself, all the sin, all the plagues, everything horrible right out of the pit of hell. He took upon his sinless body. The lamb, the Passover lamb, that's what he was. He was sacrificed. But the most agonizing thing that Yeshua was going to have to face, that he knew, and why he wanted this cup to pass, that he didn't have to take it, was because when he became sin, he knew he was going to be abandoned by his Father, that his Father would turn away from him because he could not look at sin. And that was the worst plague of all, and why Yeshua agonized and sweat blood over that concept. But he said, even so, let your will come forth. I will do as you will, Father. And that's how much he loved his bride. Because if he hadn't gone through the cup of judgment, there wouldn't be a chance for us to drink the cup of redemption, new in his Father's kingdom, at the marriage supper of the Lamb. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishvi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hanavi. Elijah, the spirit of Elijah, may it come even this year and open the way for us. Prepare yourself the way of the Lord. Chag Pesach and Shalom.